Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo, first year Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. This is our second shir, Mishna Berura. We're learning Hilchos Tisha B'Av, Tov Kuf Nun Tes Sif Zayin. Yisrael, you have to begin reading for us, please.
Yeah. Yesh Tinuk Lamol. There is a child that needs a bris milah. Molino Isor.
Right, so if the child, Bez Hashem, is a healthy child, so the bris milah should take place on the 8th day. We're even Machal, well, I shouldn't say Machal Shabbos, because that's not Chil Shabbos. You do bris milah even on Shabbos, because it's the 8th day. It's doiche the dinim of Shabbos. So here in Tisha B'Av also, there's no reason to put off the bris milah. However, there's usually a festive meal that's accompanying the bris milah, and also at the time of the milah, they're giving the name. There's a koshel bracha, which is usually drunk. So there's certain things which you might think to prevent or to put off the bris milah to another day rather than on the fast day Tisha B'Av. So the halakha is not like that. The halakha is in yesh tinik l'moil, because a tinik has to have a bris milah. Malin so you do the bris milah after you finish the kinos. That's the limitations which we say on the morning of Tisha B'Av. Continue. Yesh mamtinim.
Those who wait to bris milah are achav 12 to chatzos. Working breakfast milah, lev samim. Make the bracha of bris milah without the samim. Okay, after. So you make a bracha without the samim, right?
We don't have that problem. We're never going to do the samim.
We don't.
What does that mean, Basamim? Is it Basamim or the bris?
Yeah,
Svardi.
Oh, Svardi moment?
Yeah, we usually Ashkenazim don't do it. We don't have a minhag is Svara Rishoina, and the minhag is like the Svara Rishoina. We'll have to understand what that means.
So how did you say that to Finos, not after Chatzos?
Right, not to wait after Chatzos, you do it like after the kinos. Maybe let's see the Mishna Berura in that for now. We have the Mishna Berura. Ahi Garmi with kinos, you finish the kinos. The mitzvah Oisin Yisrael B'Simcha. This mitzvah, why would you think to wait till after the kinos? Meaning, usually, for example, on a regular weekday, usually you wait till the end of the Shacharis to do the bris milah, right? But let's say on Shabbos, one of the minhagim is you do the bris milah before Musaf. Right, after Kriyas Torah before Musaf.
Right.
So you might think there's a point here to be mentioned that with bris milah is a special what we call zrizim matin lemitzvahs. You're supposed to do bris milah as early as possible, not to wait. So if you can do it after, say, the Kriyas Torah before the kinos begin, so that might be an appropriate time because it's zrizim matin lemitzvahs to do it then. So we're told, no, you wait until at least after you finish the kinos, because this mitzvah, the Jews do this with joy, right? Since it's a very happy occasion, you're being machnis the child into the covenant that the HaKodesh Baruch Hu made with Avraham Avinu, our forefather. So it's a very joyous occasion. It's a once in a lifetime, right, for the child himself, and for the father who doesn't have more opportunities, but still very unique and very special, very beloved mitzvah. So therefore there's a lot of joy accompanying the bris milah. So it's inappropriate to do that so early in the day when we're still in a situation of mourning over the destruction of the temple. No, this is referring to Tisha B'Av. On Tisha B'Av.
On Tisha B'Av.
Right. So the point is, why are we waiting, right, to say to do the bris milah till after the finishing of the tinos, because it's something Mr. Bruce explained, it's done with joy. So it's done with joy, so you should really put that off till it's not such a sad time. You're obligated not to do we'll speak about this more as time goes on. We're forbidden to be masiach das from the nevelos. Meaning, this is somewhat related to your question yesterday about what can you go on to visit the Holocaust Museum on Tisha B'Av.
Right.
That, see, we're just like if a person has his, for example, Shmona Esrei, so he's not supposed to do anything which is going to distract him from davening during the Shmona Esrei. Right? Likewise, during the whole day of Tisha B'Av, you're not supposed to do anything that's going to really distract you from the mourning that you're supposed to try and experience. It's hard enough for us to feel sad about something that happened almost 2,000 years ago to begin with, so at least what we can do is not do things which will be distracting to our goal of trying to be sad over what happened. Right? That means a person shouldn't be reading newspapers, novels, doing business. All these things are forbidden, at least up until the first half of the day. Things become a little bit more relaxed after the second half of the day. Right. But even then, we'll see when we get more specifically involved with taking your mind off the morning. So therefore, to have a bris milah so early in the day, before the kinos, before the saying of the lamentations has been finished, that would introduce a element of joy into the day of Tisha B'Av, which is not appropriate. So we want to wait until the kinis are over. Okay?
They say, I would think even more so you should bring it after Chatzos, because then you get the leniency.
Oh, so that's the second opinion. The second says there's those that say, right? There are those mamtini yesh mamtini l'moyo. That's after Chatzos. That's the Mishna Berura in Kavav. You want to read Kavav? That's on the next page. So look through the Mishna Kavav.
Ad achar chatzos. The mikodem chal ad adayin avelu ve'eno kedai. And to sanctify.
Well, the mikodem that beforehand.
Oh, before chal.
It's still incumbent adayin avail. It's still incumbent the mourning.
To mourn. Right. And it's not proper.
Right, it's not proper.
Usvara rishona, and the first thought.
That's the first opinion.
Sphira la thought to it. De'af al pi, even though chain, thus mitzvah lahakdim diz rizin mikdimin le mitzvos.
Dizrizim makdimim le mitzvos. That the first opinion was of the opinion that even though you're still supposed to be in Avelis until Chatzos, nevertheless, there's another consideration here, that it's Rizim Matim L'Mitzvahs. You're supposed to try and do the bris milah as early as possible.
Right.
So that will suspend the mourning period, at least temporarily, and you should try and do it as early as possible to be done. Wait until you finish the kinos, and then do the milah, and not wait an extra time till Chatzos.
So why, based on that, why wouldn't, during the week, on a regular day, why wouldn't you do the bris first before davening?
Because you have another point, which is tader kodem, meaning in general, anything when you have two mitzvahs that are in conflict as to which to do, there are several different ways of choosing which to do first. So which one is more constant, the more constant mitzvah always comes first.
Right.
So you have Kriya Shema.
Same uses requirement for davening.
Right, so because you might say that davening is to a large extent the Rabbanan, but since you have Kriya Shema is the Raisa, so that you have to do. So once you're doing the Kriya Shema, I would imagine do all of the davening, and finish the davening, and then do the bris milah.
I see.
Okay, below Busamim, do a couple
Below Busamim, without spices, off shetamid gam kain ein mevi'in bisamim lemila. Even that always it is also not understood.
They bring. Excuse me. Yeah, they bring.
It is not that they do not bring spices to a milah, to a circumcision.
Right. So the Mechaber said you do the bris milah without besamim. So the Mishnah Berura is saying here, even shetamid gamkein ein mevi'in besamim b'milah, even though that generally you're not normally bringing besamim to a milah. Right? Let's say that's the case. Kol
In any case, tarich lehash mi'enu dich hayom gam kein ein mevi'in. In any case, you need
to be taught
that on that day,
in the day of Tisha B'Av,
also, we do not bring it. Even
It's
though we normally don't bring it, we have to be taught that we don't bring it on that day.
Right. It's a little bit funny. The logic's a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Hold on. We'll see an explanation. But that's what's coming. That's what he's saying here. Is even though that generally you don't bring besamim, but you have to be taught that on Tisha B'Av, even though normally you would never bring it, but on Tisha B'Av also you don't even bring it. What's the whole point here?
midas hagonim, and it points out the understanding of the sages.
This is la'afuki midas hagonim. This is to be in contrast to the das, the opinion of the Go'anim. That's actually after the time of the Gemara.
Shesovrim dehayom ein mevi'in kos livracha afilu litain v'tinok, that they hold that on the day we don't bring a kosher bracha except
Even
to give to the child, the tinok.
Okay, so the question that we're asking, that the Mishnah was also pointing out, is why do you have to be told not to bring besamim, even in the cases where you never bring besamim anyway? Right. Why does the Mechaber have to tell you not bringing besamim here? Because it's coming to teach you that there are those Gaonim that were of the opinion that you would not even bring a kosher bracha to give to the tinok. So here the Mechaber is writing, don't bring besamim, but that's the only thing you don't bring. But the kosher bracha, which you usually bring, that you do bring. Ela
mevi'in besamim b'mekom kos livracha.
Right, so that meaning they were of the opinion you don't bring the wine.
You bring the
spices
instead of the wine.
Right, so here he's telling you
no. Adarava.
Good, that's right. Kamash malan
delo. So come hear from this that no, you do not do that. Div simcha ha ba'av.
The Tisha B'Av.
The Tisha B'Av, that on Tisha B'Av,
the 9th of Av,
Tzarich le'ma'et ta'anug v'chol ma de'efshar, that it's necessary to limit pleasure in everything de'efshar, that's possible, in every way possible.
That's right.
In every way that's possible.
So just to review, what's being discussed here by the Mishnah Berura? The Mechaber said that you make the bracha birkas hamila, but without besamim. Because why? This, the Mishnah Berura tells us that even in a case where you never bring besamim, right? You have to be taught here. The Mechaber is teaching us, the Shulchan Aruch is teaching us, don't bring B'samim here specifically on Tisha B'Av, because there's an opinion of the Gaonim that says like this, that you're not to bring a kos, shel bracha, don't bring any wine, but bring B'samim instead. Right?
Oh, because you don't bring the wine because you can't drink.
Can't drink.
So bring something instead of
Right,
it.
so you bring B'samim instead. Even if you never bring B'samim, but on Tisha B'Av you would bring B'samim instead, and not bring the kos shel bracha. Here the Mechaber is saying, no, you mivorach in Birkas Hamila, you make the Birkas Hamila in imaginary parentheses with the kos shel bracha, with the kos of wine, and without any B'samim. And why shouldn't you bring any B'samim? Because on Tisha B'Av, right, you're supposed to mamayit, you're supposed to reduce as much pleasure during the day as possible, not even to smell B'samim.
Spices bring happiness.
Right? That's right. That's one of the reasons on Motzei Shabbos we have B'samim during Havdalah. That's
Right.
Mishivas Nefesh. It brings us back to ourselves, revives our spirits. Right? So this is in contrast to say Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, you see a lot of places in the shuls that put out, actually have people in Mazakeh Sarabim, they do public service, and they put out all kinds of different herbs and spices and smelling salts and all kinds of things that people can make brachas on, because they want to try and get 100 brachas, very hard to get 100 brachas on Yom Kippur. So in order to at least get a few brachas, and maybe if you do it if you cycle around during the course of the day and night, you can maybe generate yourself 100 brachas on Yom Kippur. So they have all different kinds of smelling things that you make different types of brachas on these different things to smell. So because there's no inyan of inui nefesh of to cause yourself a distress in terms of holding back pleasure from yourself. On Yom Kippur you have to fast, right? But you don't really have to distress yourself. On Tisha B'Av there's a certain particular point that you have to distress yourself. As we'll see later on, some people sleep on the floor on Tisha B'Av. It's said if a person can't sleep on the floor, he should try and do something to reduce his pleasure, meaning if he sleeps with 2 pillows, to sleep with 1 pillow. Right, we'll see this, because there's a separate concept on Tisha B'Av that you're supposed to be distressed in a physical way. I'm not talking about extremely distressed, but you're supposed to do things which are cutting back your pleasure from this world on Tisha B'Av. That you don't see on Yom Kippur. So that's why the Mechaber is telling us not B'samim. This is to tell you make brachas and you give the wine or grape juice to a child to drink, right? But you don't bring B'samim to smell the B'samim, which would be getting an extra pleasure from on the day of Tisha B'Av that's improper.
I wonder why we're not afraid that you'll make a mistake if you bring the wine. You'll make a mistake and drink it since it's so habitual.
There's so many people there that they're going to watch you, because you know why? Because they'll be jealous if you drink and they don't.
Okay.
You have to be careful.
Like in Mincha yesterday, Azar Sashatz, he forgot to say a name. You think he had a chance to say the second word of Rafa'inu? Before he got to the second word, half the synagogue, Anenu, like in the biggest sin in the world, you know? Nobody wants you to be left out.
Yeah, I never understood that custom of interrupting somebody when he's in the middle of davening. Aren't you not supposed to interrupt? If you start a bracha,
Yeah.
and it's let's say you miss something, so it's not a false bracha.
Right.
It's a correct bracha that you're going to have to say, but you miss something. So I would think that the custom should be to wait until he finishes the bracha and then say Anenu.
Well, it depends where you are. Depends where you are. In Rafa'inu, because in Rafa'inu you didn't say the bracha until the end. So anywhere from Rafa'inu till the bracha you can stop. Right?
Is that true?
Yes.
Is it
That's halacha.
preferable to
Yes.
stop in the middle of a sentence?
How to jump around, but
I just read that. That's fine.
the Tokuf Zion. Actually,
This is Nachem.
well, Anenu, right? Anenu B'Tisha B'Av, right?
the other one up was the worst.
No, the name would be in, that would be, general. That would be, yes. Okay, well, let's leave that for now. I don't want to take up, let's see. We'll work on that. We'll get to that name, but that's, yeah, you should say it in its place. He can correct himself as long as he hasn't, you know.
What if he said, Baruch atah Hashem?
So you should finish it. You should finish
And they
it.
should not
Then
just
he
wait.
says it. Then he says it in Shema Kohen.
That's right. Okay. And Chav Ches, the minig is like the Svara Rishona.
All right.
Yeah, Chav Ches.
In the Mishnah Berura?
Mishna Berura. Well, we had two opinions. One that you wait till after the kinos for the bris milah. The second opinion was you wait till after Kutzais. Right? That was the second opinion. The second opinion was until after Kutzais. And Ramah added Svara. The minig is like the Svara Rishona that you wait till after the kinos, not the Kutzais. Agah. Zut Sorkios Koden Tevis Mevorkim. Okay, this is a question where this is supposed to be placed. It says this is before the Mevorkim. Okay.
What's that mean in the Torah?
Then we said over there, Mevorkim Bruchas Mila below B'Somni. So this Hagah here has to be placed previously. This has to be mentioned here. Bruchas Mila, it's another thing. It's another thing. Let's see. Okay, good. Maybe we'll stop here today. We'll continue in